It may surprise you to learn that something as simple as reheating your food could be quietly affecting your health. Especially after age 60, most of us pop yesterday's leftovers in the microwave without a second thought. But science tells us the way we reheat certain foods can impact everything, from our digestion and inflammation to our memory and balance. That's not just talk. Studies from respected publications like the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition have revealed that some reheated meals may contribute to health problems in seniors, while others can actually become more nutritious when properly warmed. Yes, the very same meal that comforted you yesterday could either support or sabotage your well-being today. Let's break it down clearly. In this guide, we'll show you 3 foods every senior should reheat, because doing so improves their health benefits, and 3 foods you should never reheat again, no matter how convenient it seems. And if you stay with me until the end, I'll reveal one incredibly common food that might be harming your nerves, joints, and heart every time you warm it up. Chances are it's sitting in your fridge right now. But first, let's talk about the good news. For many seniors, mornings hold a quiet kind of magic, a chance to start slow, reflect, and nourish both body and soul. And one of the best foods to begin your day: a warm bowl of oatmeal. Most people don't realize that reheating oatmeal can actually increase its health benefits. When oats are cooked, cooled, and then gently warmed again, something remarkable happens. The starches change structure and form what's known as resistant starch. Why does that matter? Because resistant starch isn't fully digested in the small intestine. Instead, it reaches the colon, where it feeds good gut bacteria, strengthens digestion, helps control blood sugar, and reduces inflammation throughout the body. And for those over 60, these benefits are game changers. Feeling intrigued. That's just the beginning, because the longer oatmeal sits, the more its resistant starch develops. So when you reheat it properly the next day, you're not just saving time, you're helping your gut, heart, and brain stay healthier. This isn't just nutritional theory, it's practical daily support for older adults. As we age, blood sugar levels can swing unpredictably, and digestion often slows down. Reheated oatmeal becomes a low glycemic energy source, delivering fuel gradually instead of spiking and crashing your system. That means more stable mood, better focus, and longer-lasting fullness throughout your morning. But the benefits go even deeper. Oatmeal is naturally high in a soluble fiber called beta-glucan, which has been shown to lower LDL cholesterol. That's the bad kind, and improve heart health. For seniors at risk of cardiovascular issues, that's no small deal. Plus, unlike sugary breakfast cereals or greasy sausages, a bowl of reheated oatmeal is gentle on your stomach, simple to prepare, and endlessly customizable. Add fresh blueberries, chopped walnuts, or a dash of cinnamon, and you've got a bowl full of antioxidants, your body's first line of defense against cellular aging and disease. And more than that, there's something emotionally comforting about it too. On cold mornings or those days when you're feeling worn down, a warm bowl of oats is more than just breakfast. It's a daily act of kindness toward yourself. Familiar, soothing, steady. And in a world that changes fast, that kind of ritual can be grounding in every sense. So yes, reheating oatmeal isn't just safe, it's smart. It supports your gut, heart, and mind, and it helps you build a morning routine that says, I still matter. My body still deserves care. But oatmeal isn't the only reheated food that supports your aging body. What's the next one? There's something quietly healing about soup in the late afternoon, especially when the light softens through the window and the body begins to feel the weight of the day. For many seniors, that's the moment when comfort food matters most, not just to fill the belly, but to bring warmth to the soul. A warm bowl of vegetable soup, when reheated correctly, does far more than just taste good. It becomes a kind of nutritional medicine, replenishing your immune defenses, easing inflammation, and keeping your joints and tissues hydrated. Let's see why. Unlike processed meals that often lose nutrients, a homemade vegetable soup becomes more nutritious the second day. Why? Because after being cooked gently, the cell walls of vegetables like carrots, celery, onions, sweet potatoes, and leafy greens begin to break down as they rest. This process releases more minerals and plant compounds, making them easier for your body to absorb when the soup is reheated. Think of it like steeping tea. The longer it settles, the stronger it gets. When you reheat that same soup the next day, it transforms into a concentrated source of antioxidants, phytonutrients, and hydration, all of which are especially vital for older adults. As we age, our immune systems naturally decline, making us more prone to infections, joint stiffness, and systemic inflammation. But a well-reheated vegetable soup acts like a gentle defense system, especially when enhanced with herbs like parsley, turmeric, or garlic. That warmth does more than nourish. It also improves circulation, helping open blood vessels and relieving cold hands and feet. And for those who struggle to chew or digest heavy meals, something common in later years, soup is the perfect solution. It's easy on the stomach, soothing to the throat, and still full of flavor. You might even find yourself eating better on days when you otherwise wouldn't feel like cooking. Because soup, especially when prepared and reheated with care, requires no extra effort, but gives plenty in return: strength, hydration, and quiet satisfaction. And let's not overlook the emotional nourishment. For many, a reheated pot of soup brings back memories of family kitchens, quiet Sunday afternoons, and meals where food meant love. That moment when you lift the spoon to your lips isn't just about filling up, it's about returning to something familiar, something simple, something safe. And when made with herbs, mild vegetables, and light seasoning, soup becomes one of the kindest meals for those managing high blood pressure, arthritis, or sensitive digestion. So the next time you make a batch, don't just enjoy it fresh. Let it rest, reheat it, and know you're doing something deeply good for your aging body and spirit. Ready for one more. There's a third food that turns into a true ally after reheating, and it might already be in your fridge. Sometimes the simplest foods carry the most power. Brown rice doesn't shout for attention. It doesn't sparkle on the plate. But it's steady. It's grounding. And when reheated the right way, it becomes one of the most underrated tools for seniors looking to strengthen their body from the inside out. So what makes brown rice so special, especially compared to white rice? Brown rice still contains the bran and germ layers, natural sources of fiber, B vitamins, magnesium, and selenium. All nutrients many older adults tend to lack. These elements support nerve health, blood pressure, regulation, muscle relaxation, and even cell repair. And here's the good news: like oatmeal, brown rice develops resistant starch after being cooked and cooled. Then, when you gently reheat it, preferably with a splash of water or by steaming it, retains those healthful properties while becoming easier to digest. That means less strain on your pancreas, more balanced blood sugar, and steadier energy throughout the day. This is crucial for seniors managing type 2 diabetes, heart conditions, or even just the natural fatigue that can set in with age. Reheated brown rice doesn't just provide fuel. It supports your gut microbiome, feeding the beneficial bacteria that help regulate inflammation, mood, and immune function. And thanks to its high magnesium content, a mineral often deficient in those over 60, it also helps ease nighttime leg cramps, promote better sleep, and maintain calm nerve function. With each warm serving, brown rice becomes more than just a side dish. It's an act of self-support, a small, sustaining gesture that says, I'm giving my body what it needs to feel stable, calm, and strong. And for many, rice holds a deeper meaning. It reminds us of family meals, traditions, and the unmistakable aroma of something wholesome cooking in the kitchen. Reheating brown rice isn't just convenient. It's a way to return to routine, to feel anchored, to express care toward yourself in the smallest of ways. Plus, it's incredibly versatile. Add a handful of steamed veggies, a spoonful of lentils, or a drizzle of olive oil, and suddenly you have a nutrient-packed, comforting meal that doesn't overwhelm your digestion. But as nourishing as these reheated foods are, not everything left in the fridge deserves a second chance. Some meals, beloved though they may be, can quietly hurt your nerves, your heart, and your clarity when warmed again. Let's look at the 3 foods seniors should never reheat, starting with one that often seems harmless but carries real risk beneath the surface. Mushrooms feel like a healthy choice, earthy light, easy on the stomach. They remind us of connection to nature, of old traditions, and of something rooted and ancient. For seniors looking for simple nutrition, they often seem like the perfect pick. But here's something you may not know: once mushrooms have been cooked, cooling and reheating them can become risky, especially for older adults. You see, mushrooms are full of complex proteins and amino acids which are excellent for health when fresh. But these proteins are also sensitive to heat. During the first cooking, their structure changes slightly to make them easier to digest. But if you then cool and reheat them, especially in butter or oil, those same proteins can denature again, this time in ways that make them harder for your aging digestive system to handle. For someone younger, this might just mean mild discomfort. But in seniors with more delicate digestion and fewer digestive enzymes, it can result in bloating, nausea, and indigestion. And the real danger, it often creeps in silently. If cooked mushrooms are left at room temperature too long or stored improperly, they can develop harmful bacteria, including Clostridium, botulinum, or Listeria. These bacteria don't always show symptoms right away, but they can upset your digestive system, weaken your immune response, and in extreme cases even affect your nervous system. You might not feel sick immediately. It could just show up as persistent fatigue, ongoing indigestion, or feeling off for the rest of the afternoon. And while that might seem like normal aging, it could be your body reacting to a danger you can't see. Reheating mushrooms may seem harmless, especially in a society that praises leftovers and convenience. But it's one habit that seniors committed to staying strong, steady, and sharp should think twice about. And beyond the bacterial risks, there's another concern: once reheated mushrooms lose many of their antioxidants, the very nutrients that once helped support your immune system and reduce inflammation. So you're left with a dish that tastes familiar but no longer nourishes you the way it once did. Mushrooms are best enjoyed fresh, properly cooked, and eaten right away. Let them be a gift from nature in their best state, not a leftover that could be working against you. And mushrooms aren't the only familiar favorite that turns dangerous after a second round of heat. What about a classic staple in almost every American kitchen: eggs? Eggs have long been celebrated as one of the most complete and nourishing foods around. They're simple, familiar, and wholesome, a breakfast table staple for generations of Americans. For seniors, eggs are an excellent source of high-quality protein, vitamin D, and choline nutrients, essential for strong bones and a healthy brain. But there's a hidden side to eggs that's rarely discussed, especially when it comes to reheating. When eggs are freshly cooked, whether boiled, poached, or scrambled, they're easy to digest and packed with nutrition. But once they've been cooled and stored, even for just one night, their structure begins to change. And when you reheat them, especially in a skillet or microwave, the proteins in eggs start to solidify and reorganize in ways that make them much harder to digest. For seniors with slower metabolism or sensitive digestion, this can mean bloating, indigestion, or a lingering heaviness after meals. But there's more. A deeper danger lies in what happens when fats and cholesterol in eggs are exposed to high heat. A second time, reheating scrambled or fried eggs, especially those cooked in oil or butter, can cause lipids and cholesterol to oxidize, forming compounds that are linked to artery damage and increased inflammation. This isn't just theory, it's backed by research. And for seniors already facing heart disease, high blood pressure, or elevated cholesterol, the consequences can build up quietly over time. You might not feel the impact after just one reheated egg, but day by day, that extra burden could show up as a groggy, bloated feeling that slows you down. A lack of mental sharpness or focus, a body that feels more sluggish than usual, and the damage adds up. From rising cholesterol to a weakened digestive system, the price of convenience can be high, especially when your body after years of service deserves more comfort, not strain. Eggs are still a wonderful food, but they're meant to be enjoyed fresh. Boiled, scrambled, or poached eggs can do wonders when eaten right away. But once they've cooled, it's best to resist the urge to reheat. Instead, cook them fresh. Take the extra few minutes, because those few minutes might spare your heart, your gut, and your energy. Still, there's one more comfort food that hides a bigger risk when reheated. It's soft, warm, nostalgic, and dangerously misleading. Let's talk about white potatoes. White potatoes bring back warm memories. For many seniors, they represent holiday dinners, Sunday family gatherings, and the unmistakable comfort of a bowl of mashed potatoes passed around the table. They're cozy, familiar, and deeply woven into American tradition, but there's a hidden problem: reheating white potatoes, especially when they've been cooked with butter, oil, or cream, can quietly turn them from comfort food into a health risk, particularly for seniors aiming to protect their heart circulation and cognitive health. Freshly cooked white potatoes already have a high glycemic index, meaning they convert quickly into sugar in your bloodstream. That alone can spike blood sugar levels, leading to a crash that leaves you feeling drained. But when you cool and then reheat those potatoes, their starch structure changes, and not in a good way. Rather than stabilizing your system, these altered starches may actually worsen insulin resistance and trigger inflammatory responses throughout the body. That means your joints, blood vessels, and even your brain could suffer subtle repeated stress from a dish you thought was safe. This is especially important for seniors, as the body's ability to regulate blood sugar naturally decreases with age. Reheated white potatoes can contribute to afternoon fatigue and sluggishness, tingling or numbness in the legs and feet, chronic joint stiffness, increased blood pressure. And the problem doesn't stop there. Many people reheat potato dishes in plastic containers, not realizing that the heat may cause chemicals like bisphenol A BPA to leach into the food. BPA is known to disrupt hormones and negatively affect heart health and brain function. You might notice that after lunch you feel more tired than usual, or your legs feel heavier. You might even think that's just aging. But in truth, the reheated potatoes on your plate could be playing a role in those symptoms. What's worse is that white potatoes don't offer much protection in return. Unlike sweet potatoes or colorful root vegetables, they're low in antioxidants, the very compounds that could offset their negative effects. So, while they may satisfy your stomach, they're not supporting your strength. They comfort your taste buds, yes, but quietly place a burden on your system. As you age, it becomes important to choose meals that nourish your present, not just your past. Let potatoes remain part of your treasured memories, not a trigger in your daily health routine. And now, stepping back to see the bigger picture, what should seniors really take from all this? So, what does all of this mean for your daily life? It means that not everything in your refrigerator deserves a second chance, especially as we age. The small decisions we make, like what we choose to reheat, can have a surprisingly big impact on our energy, mobility, and even our independence. This isn't about fear, it's about awareness. When you take the time to intentionally reheat the right foods, like oatmeal vegetable soup or brown rice, you're giving your body gentle nourishment. You're telling your stomach, your heart, your joints, and your brain, I'm still taking care of you. And just as importantly, when you avoid reheating foods, like white potatoes, eggs, or mushrooms, you're giving yourself a gift of freedom. Freedom from unnecessary discomfort. from avoidable fatigue, from those silent creeping issues that don't show up as a bang but as a slow dimming of vitality. Convenience has a cost, but awareness brings reward. Choosing the right leftovers to reheat is a simple shift, but one that can lead to better digestion, clearer thinking, improved circulation, more stable energy throughout the day. Each meal becomes an opportunity to support your well-being, one warm bite at a time. So, tomorrow, when you open your fridge and reach for something to reheat, pause for a moment. Ask yourself, is this food serving my health or just my habit? Choose the meals that nourish that uplift, that support your journey in this season of life. Reheat with intention. Eat with care. Because at this stage, you've earned more than just quick fixes. You've earned meals that love you back. And remember, reheating isn't just about warming up food. It's about honoring your body, your memories, and your future all in one small, meaningful act. If you found this guide helpful, take a moment to reflect on what stood out most. Was it oatmeal's surprising power? The danger of white potatoes? The beauty of soup that gets stronger with time? I'd love to hear from you. Share in the comments, what one thing will you start doing differently? After reading this, let's learn from each other. Let's age with strength and wisdom.